Hey everyone, Kyle once again, aka Dressy Godzilla fan, and welcome back. And this is part three. This is part three of my 18 worst films of 2013. Now, yeah, like I said, I'm on part three now. Can't believe it. And I went on. Now we're on to worst film number five, and can't believe it's been taking about this long to get through it because hey, it's a long list. What can you expect? So, and now let's get into to on the list here at number five. Number five, number five is number five is Iron Man 3. Yes, and this is the third. After the previous ones I did. The number seven, number six was Man of Steel and the Wolverine. This is the worst one I've seen. The worst superhero film I've seen this year. Um, Now, when we first saw the trailer, we first heard about Iron Man 3, that the Mandarin was going to be in it. Although although it's not the main problem. That's not the main problem with the film. There's more problems in the film as well, though. But so I just wanted to just get into it, about how this the first before we first heard about the Iron Man 3. I was like, oh, cool, Iron Man's arch nemesis is going to be in it. And we first saw the team when we all first saw the teaser trailer, then the theoretical trailer. It looked like it was all just about him fighting the Mandarin. And yeah, Ben Kingsley, yes, even though in the comics the Mandarin was not British, he was Asian, Chinese. And he knew martial arts. Yes, I know Ben Kingsley would not know martial arts. I know that, and he's not Chinese. He's British. But I would have let it slide if I would have let that slide. If he knows how to do a good one. And from the first saw the teaser trailer, it looked like he was just him being being a good Mandarin. It looked like he was, and then and the second trailer is like, he's like, okay, cool, this is what Iron Man's up against. He's gonna finally gonna fight his arch arch enemy, and when he's wearing the 10 rings. And I saw the movie with my brother and two of his friends and my dad. Left the theater very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. It's not just the main problem with the Mandarin, but there's also a lot of problems, a lot more problems as other problems in the film as well, besides the main problem. Yeah, but yes, everyone knows. Yeah, the main problem. If whoever hates the film too, the main problem is with the Mandarin. All know that. So yeah, basically, the trailers and the TV spots, they're all lies. Um, it pretty much fooled everyone to thinking that Mandarin was the main villain, but no, it had to focus more on Guy Pearce as this Aldrich Killian. From what I remember, Aldrich Killian. What I remember is he appeared in a single comic and he died in it. So with it's directed by Shane. This film was directed by Shane Black, who was a writer on the Lethal Weapon films, and a writer of The Last Boy Scout. So he decided to take a chance on directing this film, and guess what? He screwed up. He screwed up. Um, So you want to give the he says that the Aldrich Killian said he is the true Mandarin. Yeah, what makes him the true Mandarin is because he's got Chinese dragons tattooed on his chest. That makes him the true Mandarin. Yeah, that's the reason why. Yeah, just because you have dragon tattoos on your chest, that makes you the true Mandarin. Really? Yeah. And Ben Kingsley Mandarin, he was just a stage actor. And he's a British drunk stage actor. And yeah, my brother, he's really angry about it, and so especially so with my dad, because my dad, he has been collecting Marvel comics way before me and my brother did. And he was extremely disappointed. He was more extremely disappointed and more pissed than probably me and my brother is, because finally had a chance to bring Iron Man's arch enemy to the screen, and they decided to screw it up. This is why I talk about Hollywood nowadays. They just want, yeah, since making comic book movies, they have the right to change. They have their own rights to chance to screw up the characters of comic books, especially the main characters of enemies of classic characters. Like just like the Mandarin, just like the Mandarin, for the perfect example for the Mandarin. They decided to make the Mandarin a joke, basically. You know, let's make fun of the Mandarin. Oh, he's a British drunk actor, you know, and just make him like give the true Mandarin to a character that only appeared in one comic and died in it. Yeah, and that's the same, and it's the same thing. What I'm not looking forward to, like Amazing Spider-Man 2, because how they screw up with Electro, and how they screw up with the Rhino. They just want, I think Hollywood just want to do it on purpose. They just want to screw up the character, the villains as much as possible, even you know. And sure, it makes fans. I mean, sure, it make true comic book fans, you know, of those characters really mad, you know. Hey, what we do? Yeah, we're the fans, but we have no say in it though. Um, but other than the problems with other than problem with Mandarin, what are the other there's other problems in the film as well. Um, yeah, Tony Stark, you know, he's suffering from nightmares about what happened in New York in the Avengers. You know how he almost died he almost died when he was in space to set the nuclear bomb in space. You know, yeah, he almost died from it, and you know he's having like anxiety problems or something like that. Understandable though, but when someone has to bring it up, when someone has to bring it up, it just like goes, oh, you know. I mean, come on, you know. Yeah, you know, yeah, I understand you're having those nightmares, you know. And some of the most of the times, you know, we was like that. Some most times because he was drinking a lot. If you read in the comic books, most of the time he does that because he's been drinking a lot. And other problem, yeah, you have that other stuff. You know, you have what is that stuff? That superpowering healing stuff. What was it? The or extremis? Um, I think how that was called. You know, and it's like also was same thing with Guy Pearce at the start of the film. You know, which I didn't notice it, but uh in that with Rembrandt for Life and OCP Communications when they're doing the video of the top worst film of 2013, and that film was on their list, and they mentioned I didn't notice it, but it was like brought up another interesting thing is how Guy Pearce had the look at the start of the film, how he had the long hair and the geeky glasses, you know. They mentioned how he looks like Jim Carrey as Edward Nygma, the Riddler in Batman Forever. And then once they said that, I was like, oh wow, yeah, that they're absolutely right. Yeah, they always did the exact same thing in Batman Forever. How make a geeky scientist who come up with an interesting idea and then he gets shot down by the main actor who was coincidentally a millionaire, you know. And they wanted to get their revenge, you know, for shoving their ideas aside, you know. And I was like, oh wow, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, that does look like from Jim Carrey and on Batman Forever. I do give him a good thumbs up for making such interesting comparisons. You know. So I'll say like I'll give him the thumbs up for that. He's like, oh wow, that's cool. You know. And funny too as well. Really making comparisons. You know. Very interesting. And I was like, yeah. So let's take maybe that's what we're planning to do. You know. Trying to make a comparison to Batman Forever. It was just so that was just silly, and you know, and yeah, the Iron Patriot, you know, Don Cheadle was supposed to be in, you know, but also make it, they probably have this particular Iron Man suit, and it's probably suitable for everyone, you know. This guy can fit into it, you know, who's been infested with this with that extremist stuff, and even the president can fit in it, you know. And Tony Stark, you know, has to be also he's becoming a detective, you know, has this kid with them that was helping him out, you know. And by the end, he's jumping from suit to suit, you know, jumping from suit to suit, and getting a very horrible fight with Guy Pearce, and all of a sudden, Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow has to save him, has to kill the bad guy and save Tony Stark. It's like the same, it's like the same thing in Bullet to the Head, you know, where Stallone is about to lose against Jason Momoa, then all of a sudden Sun King had to come in and save Sly's ass by shooting him. It's probably the same thing here in Iron Man 3, you know. He has to be saved by his fiance, his Pepper Potts, you know. Has to be saved. She has to kill the main bad guy now. Guy Pearce was not good. I wish he would have been cut out of the film, because yeah, you saw it in the trailer. You only saw him in a couple of scenes, but that didn't make him the true Mandarin. I thought Ben Kingsley was the Mandarin because he had the beard, the 10 rings, and also pretty much makes if he was a stage after me, that pretty much makes the 10 rings meaningless, you know, because of especially had all the alien powers, you know, different types of things on the 10 rings. Man, pointless. Even if you know it, and if you notice in the first Iron Man film, had that when Tony Stark's been captured, had the flag on him, had 10 rings around him. It's supposed to be the nod to the Mandarin. Now, even that part, though not there, is pretty much pointless, because they just want to make fun of the Mandarin in this film, and they just did. So yeah, so Iron Man 3. It just sucks. It's not just besides it's not those guys the disappointing of the Mandarin, but this is all just too many other stuff, you know, like him, you know, him having anxieties, you know, just because having nightmares, and makes him, you know, because like one scene, you know, because he was at his nightmares, and he had the stuff, and then making some connection to the suit, you know, and then the suit comes on and starts attacking them while he was sleeping, you know. Also, he's also for some reason he's also another one reason for just once he gets his life saved, and by the end of the film he decides to blow up all of his suits. So if he blows up all of his suits, and how come and he's gonna appear in the Avengers 2: Age of Ultron, how, you know, if you blew up those suits, where's he gonna get any more suits, you know? Yeah, I know he can always rebuild them, he has the money though, but why would you want to build them suits in case if he has to fight in Avengers 2: Age of Ultron, you know? And of course, he takes out his the thing that was in his chest, you know, and throws off the cliff, and probably because he used that extra stuff, you know, to heal his chest, you know. That doesn't make him, yeah, even though he maybe still be Iron Man, but he's not gonna be Iron Man anymore, because that's the main thing with the character, because he had his chest in this thing, you know, the thing in his chest the whole time, you know. He goes and throws it away now, and blows up all suits, and so how come in the Avengers 2, you know, how he's gonna fight with all of his suits being blown up. I know he has the money and the technology, he can still rebuild them though, but I'm just saying. So yeah, this is more problems besides the problem with the Mandarin. So yeah, Iron Man 3 it sucks big time. It's just things I like Iron Man 1, I like Iron Man 2, but this one just sucked, you know. Even a Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2, he didn't have a very big fight with Tony Stark, you know. Even that one scene at the racetrack, or even at the end, he's a much more better villain. Whiplash, he's a much more better villain than Guy Pearce is. Or Jeff Bridges is much more better villain than Guy Pearce is. So yeah, Iron Man 3, it just sucks big time. So that's his number 5. I don't want to say any more about it. And so that's number 5. Number 4, I have the DVD right here. Number 4, R.I.P.D. R.I.P.D. starring Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds. R.I.P.D. Rest in Peace Department. And this is another comic book film, but this was based on by not Marvel, based by Dark Horse Comics, the same Dark Horse Comics that made Hellboy and The Mask and Time Cop. You know, it is and the ability thought this could be a biz kind of like this by Dark Horse, and if they did Hellboy, maybe it could be a hit. And for some reason, this film costs about $130 million, and I did not see that while watching this. I never saw this in the theaters, and I knew when I heard about it, and I heard that it was a big box office bomb. I was like, it hasn't been that bad, It debuted at number 7, and it made total worldwide made $33 million in the U.S. Total worldwide made $78 million, and this was a big box office bomb. And I just had to buy this on DVD and just get my curious thoughts on it, and no wonder it bombed badly at the box office. And it's quite fitting, R.I.P.D. Rest in peace, rest in peace movie, because how fitting it is, it says R.I.P. in its name, rest in peace, yeah, because rest in peace movie because you died at the box office. And I always thought that was pretty funny, rest in peace movie because you died at the box office. How fitting that is in the title, and it didn't do poorly and it did very poorly at the box office. So that's why rest in peace movie, because you died at the box office. Ha 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 ha. But besides that, yeah, this is directed by Robert Schwenk. Robert Schwenk. How do I pronounce his last name? He directed Red. That starred Bruce Willis and Mary Louise Parker. Even Mary Louise Parker's in this as well, and Kevin Bacon. And Red is I like Red that he directed, and Red is better than this. There's a lot more problems because this. It's like where to start. This is what it's like. Oh. Well, for starters, let's start with Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds, I don't think he didn't have that much to do. Even though looking from his face, yeah, maybe he looked like he was taking it seriously, but for the whole time I was looking at his face, looked like he was just bored out of his mind. It was like that. It looked like he was bored. And Jeff Bridges. Yeah, because he's a guy from the 1800s, from the Wild West, and he's a cowboy. Had the talking with a cowboy talk kind of look. Even Rambo Rap for Life. He mentioned he did a rant on this film. He said it's funny how he called how Jeff Bridges sounded like Foghorn Leghorn. And I was like, yeah, that really does sound like when I watched this film, it was how Jeff Bridges is talking. He really does sound like Foghorn Leghorn, Like, oh, you are earned this. Come on. We are the greatest lawmen that ever lived and died. It's like, wow, he does sound like Foghorn Leghorn. I absolutely agree on that comment. And the special effects in this are just beyond mediocre, especially for a $130 million budget. I think it's like one of the most fakest CGI I've ever seen in my entire life. Especially with the deados, what they're called, the deados. Especially the guy who's like Fat Elvis, acting like Elvis. How he turns into this horrible CGI blob, and he's like running on the side of the building, and it's just real terrible looking. It's just for a big budget film, it's just not excusable whatsoever. If you have a big budget, you can't make a creatures like these deads look good. It's just a complete waste. It was just a complete waste of money, and the jokes are not funny whatsoever. They have when they're in the human world, they can't look like themselves, so they look like different people. Yes, Jeff Bridges, he looks like this like this hot girl right there, you know. Yeah, a lot of dozen jokes now. People are how guys are just staring and looking. Yes, I know, we get it. I know. She's a hot girl, and yeah, and we're supposed to find that funny. I never found it funny whatsoever. Even when I saw it in the trailer, I never found it funny once. And what does Ryan Reynolds look like? He looks like an Asian guy who was played by James Hong. James Hong, who played Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, and that's supposed to be funny too. Yeah, he's supposed to be we have a hot girl and an Asian girl. That's supposed to be funny. Yes, I'm not laughing. I never laughed at once. That joke was not funny. When I heard the first time, it wasn't funny. I don't know how many times it is in the movie. Uh, there was another film that was from the 80s that was really similar. I would say it's really similar to me. Let me for a second. Let me grab it. Here we go. You know what this film is kind of similar to? I felt this film was way too similar to this film, Dead Heat, with Tree Williams and Joe Piscopo. I really enjoyed this movie. This is a really fun movie. I thought it was kind of the same thing, you know. They're both cops, and they get come back to life, you know. You know, they're kind of like they're fighting other dead people who are like, you know, and I just really enjoy this film, you know. Tree Williams and Joe Piscopo, I thought it was a good buddy cop film, you know, especially when they're dead cops. But it was especially directed by Mark Goldblatt, who directed The Punisher, 1989 one with Dolph Lundgren. A really good, really good film. And this film did not cost $130 million. No, this film did, which I thought was kind of similar to Dead Heat. And Jeff Bridges has done better. Ryan Reynolds, he's done better. And even Kevin Bacon, he's done better as a bad guy. In fact, I don't know between his character and this bad guy character in this or X-Men First Class. I don't know what is better, because I don't like X-Men First Class, and he's also a bad guy in that film. I don't know what's better. Kevin Bacon, he's done better, you know. And he's a deado, and how he changes into a deado is just not that big whatsoever. It's not that nothing to run home about either, you know. And the score was not memorable. The score was not memorable, you know. It's just like a lot of times a couple times when guys are looking at Jeff Bridges, who's disguised as the hot chick, you know. When they see the hot chick, you hear that musical wow 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 wow, you know, that song, you know. That was not fitting at all, and the score did nothing, and the script was just beyond crappy, you know, especially for making this $130 million film, which again I could not see it on the screen, and all this horrible, and not besides the horrible CGI deados, you know, but like when the tunnel, yeah, they built those pillars from different pieces of gold that creates a tunnel up in the sky that brings down all the other deados, you know. And then they got other holes that's sucking up buildings. Horrible CGI, you know, like a big giant green screen, you know. When Jeff Bridges says, "Holy shit," you know, and you see they're driving, all this stuff is sucking up the buildings. It's tremendous, horrible CGI. This is I think this is one of the films. This was a big waste of money, you know. You know, yeah. If it's like the comics, I don't. And plus, one other thing that I mentioned why I don't like this film in the first place. It felt like it was too much like Men in Black. Yeah, I didn't mention that. It felt it was just way too much like Men in Black. That's how the script was, you know. It was a little too much like Men in Black, and there was like a couple of things that they ripped off of Ghostbusters as well. Like, it was like the scene where Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds go into this hotel where they get to go to the top to get to the roof to stop the pillar, you know. like with Jeff, whether the elevator's out and Jeff Bridges looks up at all the bunch of stairs and goes, "Holy shit," and I was like, were they really gonna do do that one scene that was from Ghostbusters where they walk up the stairs and they get tired? Well, you didn't see them. You didn't see them walk up the stairs and get tired, but why should they? They should have done like they're gonna rip off that scene from Ghostbusters, or where they're walking down this hallway, they'll kind of look like that scene in the hotel where they'll find like the green slob ghost from Ghostbusters, and it was felt like it was too much. It had the script had tried to rip off a lot of scenes from a couple of scenes from Ghostbusters, but mostly they were trying to they're mostly ripped off from Men in Black. I just don't want more I can say. I just don't know more I can say in this film. Too much like Men in Black, a bored Ryan Reynolds, and that one comment, Jeff Bridges sounds like Foghorn Leghorn, and the jokes especially with the hot girl and the Asian guy, and the score was nothing. Especially the CGI was just beyond mediocre and terrible. It was just a waste of $130 million, and it deserves to bomb at the box office. It deserves it. Especially for when it came out. Another thing. Probably because they didn't do it because they came out with three other films on the same weekend in July. This film came out the same weekend with Turbo, The Conjuring, and Red 2. They tried to cram all these 4 films at once, and this film came out way down at the bottom on the opening weekend. So yeah, it's R.I.P.D. It deserves to be a bomb. No wonder I never saw this in the theaters. I'm glad I did. Otherwise, it'd been a waste of my money. I don't know, and I would have tore the ticket up. So yeah. So R.I.P.D. This freaking sucks. I would say more out of all the stuff on the list on the films on this, I think this has the worst This is the worst CGI in the film than the other films on my worst list. I think this had the worst CGI than any other of these films that's on my top worst list, without a doubt. Because it was a waste of freaking money. Number three, I've already did my review on this. So check back on my channel. Texas Chainsaw, and I mentioned this when I mentioned this. This was further down my list when I was doing when I mentioned one of the other films that was on my top more on the top list. I mentioned this could be on it, and this is number 3, Texas Chainsaw 3. This film made me mad straight down to the bone. Maybe that didn't sound right, but I don't care. Especially because ever since I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love the original film, and especially this they say that this what they wanted to make this was supposed to be a true sequel, taken directly after the original. And they want to ignore number 2, the other number 2, the one with starring Dennis Hopper. They wanted to ignore that film, but they wanted to make this a true sequel. True sequel, my ass. This is not a true sequel. This was an absolute boring snooze fest. I hate this film with a passion. I never wanted to see this again. And yeah, so it starts off with the open. I would say the only good thing I gotta say is, but when they opened it was the opening of this film where they open up with they took the entire original film and they condensed it about 2 minutes, and they had some stupid slow-mo to it. Slow motion. It was a ridiculous slow motion, adding to the opening of showing the original film. And then this whole thing that maybe they say that make Leatherface like an anti-hero, which was make us sympathize with him for his family. Why? Yeah, you're not. I'm not going to sympathize with a killer who's killed hundreds of innocent people and ate them. They're cannibals. you maybe want to sympathize with this guy who's murdered innocent people. No. Other cast members were completely forgettable, especially the lead girl, and yeah, even though we got also at the start of the film, you have Bill Moseley who plays the cook, though, who played Chopped Off in the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and even John Dugan, he reprised his role as Grandpa from the original film. But and plus also for some reason when they get to the house, there's like seven other people living there, where all those people come from, I have no idea. Um, which even you have Gunnar Hansen, the original Leatherface from the first film. He has a cameo appearance as another family member, which I don't know who he was. So yeah. Seeing Gunnar Hansen, yeah, okay, that was nice to see him, but that didn't matter because I was too busy hating the film. It didn't matter. Yeah, even though yes, even John Dugan came back, still played as Grandpa. Okay, that was nice to see having an original cast member playing the same character, but that didn't matter also because I was too busy. This film was beyond shitty. It made me think it didn't matter. Not even Bill Moseley as the cook. The rest of the film was boring as hell and was even a lot more stupid ideas. Yeah, so they drive off in the van. They just think they just rip. There's also they just had a rip off from the original film and the remake as well. They had to drive in the van. They get to the girl inherited a house. The house kind of looked like the house from the remake. And stupid choice were she doesn't read this important letter, which he said even the real estater guy said, please read this. It's very important, and she never does. She doesn't read it at all. She reads until the end of the film. If she would have read that letter, it would have saved her a lot of trouble. But she's a dimwit, so she doesn't. Uh, other stuff like well, okay, you get the one decent gore scene where one of her friends is hung up on a meat hook and he's trying to grab Leatherface's mask, but he takes the chainsaw and cuts the guy in half. Okay, that was the only good decent gore scene. That was the only good scene with gore in it, where he cuts the guy in half. Okay, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good gore scene right there. But that's it. The other deaths are lame as hell, getting hit with a hammer and a crowbar in the back, or and it was just beyond lame. The kills were not memorable whatsoever, except for that one guy where the guy got cut in half by the chainsaw. Um, uh, then yeah, the stupid scene where Leatherface is in the carnival. You can do a whole lot. Maybe that would have been a good idea, where where Leatherface is in a carnival and he just killing people left and right with his chainsaw, because he's in a crowd. But no, that doesn't happen. That would have been really good. That would have been real cool to see. He's just cutting people left and right with his chainsaw in this crowd in a carnival. But no, they don't do that. Um, or even that would have been another cool death scene where you have a cop tell him to put the chainsaw down, and he goes and Leatherface throws it, and when I saw that, I thought he was gonna throw the chainsaw and the chainsaw would have cut the guy's head off. That would have been a really cool, awesome death scene. But no, that didn't happen either. He just goes and he throws the chainsaw and the cop ducks. That would have been an awesome death scene, but because the script decided to cut that out. And the whole thing is trying to make it sympathize with Leatherface. Yeah. If the girl finds out it's her cousin, Leatherface is her cousin, and she reads a whole history at the police station, which they leave this box there that tells her whole history. And all of a sudden, yeah, she reads it. All of a sudden, she becomes a psychopath. I'm a Sawyer. you know. Yeah, all she reads, all of a sudden she ends up a psycho. And this is the dumbest line in the entire film, you know, when Leatherface is getting beat up by the mayor, who's one of the members who burned the house down at the start of the film, you know. He's beating up Leatherface, and she hands him his chainsaw, says, um, do your thing, cuz. I, do your thing, cuz. Oh man, that just irritated the hell out of me. That just irritated the hell out of me. But and the sheriff is right above them, you know, who has his gun pointed at him. Even the mayor tells him to shoot him, you know, and he just stands there, puts his gun down, lets the mayor die, and tells the girl, says, clean this shit up. Worst cop ever. He's a worst cop because he just let a murdering psychopath who's killed how many people? He let this murdering psychopath go free. And he tells the girl just to clean this shit up. And then finally she reads the letter at the end, and it has a flashback of his grandmother who died, who left her the house, writing the letter. It's actually played by Marilyn Burns, who played Sally in the original film. And it tells him all about her cousin, and then that's how the film ends. This movie just freaking sucks. It freaking sucks in every which way. I would say this is what no, there's in the next film, the next one I'm talking about is another horror film. I was gonna say it's like the worst horror film, no, of the year, no. This one probably is, but Texas Chainsaw 3D is just yeah. It was released in 3. It was released in 3D, and it was not that good whatsoever in 3D. It was pointless putting it in 3D. So the film just sucks, you know. I'm never gonna see this film again. And the cast sucks. Sympathizing, trying to make us sympathize with Leatherface. That was a shitty idea. You know, the characters are a bunch of dimwits. You know, even when they decide to leave the house and leave this guy who they just picked up as a hitchhiker, and they just leave this guy all alone in the house, and the guy just wants to steal stuff, you know. Or even the guy Trey Songs, who is a complete dumbass who's driving the van, and they're driving towards the gate, and even the girl says, "Hey, wait, just stop, we have to wait for the gate to open." But no, but he keeps on driving and smashes the gate, and it doesn't work because the guy was being a dumbass. And because the van didn't start, and finally had to wait for the gate to open, Leatherface catches up and cuts a tire, and the van flips over. It goes down a little bit ways, and it flips over, and that's how the guy dies. And everything in this film is just lame. The deaths are lame except for the one guy who got cut in half. That was the only decent gore scene. The other deaths are just lame as hell. The casts are dumb. The characters are dumb. Even the cast sucks, you know. Everything, and the true sequel to this, whatever. No. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was a true sequel. Because I love Dennis Hopper, and sadly he's no longer with us. I love Dennis Hopper. I loved him in that film. I like the other cast members in that film. Bill Moseley as Chop Top, Carolyn Williams as Stretch. There was just much more. Even what's his name? I forgot what's his name. Who plays the cook? Who comes back from who still played the cook from the original film. That was a much more likable cast. Here, there was not a single person that I gave a shit about. I never gave a shit about everything about this film sucks. So that's more I say. So that's number 3, Texas Chainsaw 3D, or just Texas Chainsaw, where it says there's sort of 3D there. And getting down to number 2. Number 2, Curse of Chucky. Curse of Chucky, directed by Don Mancini, who directed Seed of Chucky. I thought Seed of Chucky was the worst one in the franchise. I thought, until I saw this film. Don Mancini, he should stop directing, okay? He should stop directing, because Seed of Chucky sucked, but yeah, it had a decent amount of, yeah, had good gore in it in Seed of Chucky, but this film didn't. This film had no good gore and no likable cast whatsoever. Even though Brad Dourif, yes, he still comes back as the voice of Chucky, yes. I always thought Brad Dourif always did a great job as voicing Chucky. In this film, the voice of him voicing Chucky in this was a little bit down than all the other films. It was a little much more lower than when he voiced Brad Dourif. Um, and the stuff was everyone was a complete bore, was everything was bore from start to finish. The doll, especially how the doll looked in this film, it looked even more cheaper than the rest of the films, even the previous films. To me it just looked cheaper how the doll looked, how the texture of the doll was, you know. Um, and even yes, even Brad Dourif's daughter stars in this. She's the girl in the wheelchair, you know. I thought she did okay, but that doesn't say much though. Um, and this didn't get released in theaters. It came out direct to video and deserves to be direct to video. You know, if it released in theaters, it probably would have done poorly. But also, I remember this film got good reviews and I think it had like a 73% Rotten Tomatoes. I think a 70 something Rotten Tomatoes. For what? It doesn't deserve it. Doesn't deserve that high. Doesn't deserve that high on Rotten Tomatoes. You know. Um. All the other casts of the characters were dumb. You know, especially the one in death of the Reverend guy. The lame death where Chucky puts rat poisoning in one of the chili bowls. And the Reverend says the Reverend is he's not feeling well. But what does the Reverend do? He goes and lies to the people. They ask him, is there something wrong with you? He says, no, I'm fine. I just gotta go. Why? You're a Reverend. You're a God. You're a man. You're a man of truth. Why would you want to lie to the people? Why can't you just straight up say, I'm feeling a little unwell or under the weather? You know. Um, I just need to lie down and rest. Why can't you just say that? So instead you gotta lie to him, I'm fine, saying I'm fine, I gotta go, you know? It's completely freaking stupid. Uh, completely freaking stupid. Is this the script, you know, they even use CGI on the doll, you know. How the doll was pushing the wheelchairs running towards you know. Horrible CGI. Throughout the previous films, there was no CGI on the dolls. Even in Seed of Chucky, you know, there were no CGI on the dolls. They were, you know, but you know, especially it was produced by David Kirshner, who's produced on all the Chucky films. And also, especially despite the word Chucky, even the trailer when I said from the studio that brought you Chucky, wasn't supposed to be the studio that brought you Child's Play. That's how it was originally called. It wasn't called Chucky. It was called Child's Play. From the studio that brought you Chucky. From the studio that brought you Child's Play. It wasn't called Chucky. It was called Child's Play. And this is the unrated version, which was nothing special about. Yeah, where what was right unrated. You have a dim-witted blonde girl who's on her laptop, who's just sitting there on the bed, you know, and she looks at the doll, and he kicks a bucket of water, and she still sits there waiting to be electrocuted. And then the other woman who see something that's on Chucky's face and peels it off, and he has the scars. So he had makeup on him to cover up the scars. And so she gets like a stab in the eye, and that's it, you know. Uh, He was like, your eyes are too close together. They should be wide now. I think that's the thing. That was line. It was a dumb line anyway. And then, yeah, the other guy who tried Fiona Dorif's trying to tell her, oh, look behind you, and the guy doesn't listen. Then the guy, gets like an axe cut in half right up to here. Okay, maybe that was a decent piece of gore though, but the film was still too shitty, didn't matter. Everything about this movie just freaking sucks. The dialogue wasn't memorable. The score wasn't did nothing. Diamond scene, you gotta stop directing. And I thought I read online they said they were gonna do another sequel and a remake. Stop, stop it. I don't want to see any more. Okay? Everything was good up to Child's Play 3. Bride of Chucky I like a little less. See, Chucky sucks though, but this film even sucked even worse. This is the worst one in the franchise. The only thing I would say is the only best thing, as probably anybody would say who has seen this film, the best part of the film was after the end credits, where you have Alex Vincent, who played Andy from the first two films as a grown-up Andy Barkley. It was nice seeing him, and I like where they had that little nod to the first three films, where he saw his military certificate from when he graduated from Kent Academy. Military Academy from number 3, and there was a picture of Kyle from Child's Play 2, so he's been keeping in touch, and then the picture of of course the picture of him and his mom when he was a kid. So that was the Andy, and when Andy was on the phone saying how's Mike, that was a nod to Chris Sarandon's character as the cop in the first film. Okay, so and he was talking to his mom, so indicating that she was no longer under psychic evaluation, because at the start of the second film, it said that she was under psychic evaluation, So he's talking to his mom. I guess she was not under that anymore. I thought that was a pretty good thing. So they cleared out that little problem at the start of Child's Play 2, where it said that she was under psychic evaluation, which she's not anymore because she was talking to his mom on the phone. And I thought that was a good nod to the first two films with Kyle and the certificate to the military certificate from Child's Play 3. I thought that was good. Those were good points on those. And I like how Chucky popped out of the box, and Andy comes up with a shotgun right in his face, says, "Play with this," and shoots and blows his freaking head off. Even though you don't see it though, but you get the idea. I thought that was cool. Chucky is dead for sure. No more sequels. Even though there was a couple things before that scene, like you have Jennifer Tilly once again playing as Tiffany, delivering the box after he killed the cop. Hate Jennifer Tilly. Like she sucked in Bride of Chucky and she sucked in Sea of Chucky. I just did not need to see her in this. Seeing the character. Then another scene where it goes because there was a little girl in this, and she moved out, visit with her grandmother, like playing, where Chucky was saying let's play hide the soul, and then all of a sudden the grandma pops up with a plastic bag over her head. The best part of this film was the scene with Andy. After the end credits, that was the best thing in the entire film. The film was just beyond crappy, mediocre. The doll looked cheaper. The dialogue was horrible. The score was horrible. The deaths were horrible. Especially with the Reverend with the rat poisoning. That's really the best death you can come up with, was rat poisoning in the food. Especially with we have a man who's a man of truth, and he goes and lies to everybody saying that I'm fine, I gotta go, why can't you just say that I don't feel well? Couldn't just say that though, but no. So yes, Child's Play 2. This is even worse. I would say it's pretty much like this was the worst. This was definitely the worst horror film of this year. I don't want to see any more sequels. I don't want to see a remake of it. But what do I know? I'm a person who does not know anything. Pardon me. Yeah. And last but not least, my worst film, my absolutely worst film of this year that made me mad more than anything, and I hated this. This film got me more pissed than any other, than all these other films on this list. This film made me mad. Oh, it just made me tired. The number one worst film of 2013 is Scary Movie 5. I don't own the DVD. My brother does because he likes the scary movie films. He liked that dumb humor. Yes, I like the first two Scary Movie films. I do. Scary Movie 3 sucked, except for Leslie Nielsen. May he rest in peace. But then the Scary Movie 4 sucked. Scary Movie 4 sucked. And I thought they were done with the Scary Movie films, but they came out with the fifth one, and I never saw it in the theaters. I saw this one when my brother got it on DVD. This film got me more pissed and pissed and pissed as I was watching this film. The whole time through the movie, I had my hands on my face like this in extremely disappointment. I wanted to throw the DVD. I wanted to break the DVD with my bare hands, and I wanted to throw it out the window. But it was my brother's duty, so I couldn't. Honestly, I don't think he wouldn't have cared, especially with this one. And this is absolutely the worst scary movie film, and it's the least highest grossing one in the series. It made 70 million worldwide, 30-some in the U.S., and it doesn't deserve a penny. It's still even way too much money for this film. This is, I don't know more I could say from everything horrible. Everything horrible. Anything I say about this film was horrible. The jokes, especially with the scene with the pool cleaning equipment, have a party, and getting high, and then with a chair having sex with a microwave, or I don't know how anybody can think any of this stuff is funny. I don't know how I'll say what's so funny, but I don't see how anybody thinks any of this is funny whatsoever. I'm tired of these spoof films. I'm tired of them. The spoof films today, they only try to make them funny. They just want to make it stupid as they come. I watch the classic ones like Airplane. Oh, well, by the way, speaking of that, David Zucker, he didn't direct this film. He directed Scary Movie 3 and 4, but he didn't direct this film, right? He was a writer on this film, but I heard that it was directed by Malcolm D. Lee, but I heard that 60% of the film that he I think it was about 60% of 50 or 60% of the film that he directed was rewritten and reshot. Everything about that was written and reshot by David Zucker. So why couldn't you just make David if David Zucker rewritten and reshot and rewritten this film 50% or 60% of the film? Why couldn't you just make him the director of it? Especially David Zucker. He helped direct Airplane as well, which is a classic. The spoof films, I watch the classic spoof films like Airplane and even Airplane 2, or even Mel Brooks' films, Mel Brooks' spoof films like Young Frankenstein or Spaceballs, or Blazing Saddles. Those are great classic spoof films. The spoof films today, they're never trying to even make an attempt to be funny. They just come up with dumb stuff like that, like the pool cleaning corner or the chair having sex with a microwave, or the dumb stuff with the Black Swan or Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and do all that dumb stuff, and they probably expect people to laugh. I never laughed once. I never laughed. I never did. Never made a single chuckle. Not even a ha. Never. I never made a single chuckle once. I don't know. And this film got universally panned by critics. It deserves it. As like 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. It deserves it. As a 3 point something on IMDb. It deserves it. Everything about this film. This film deserves to be flushed down the freaking toilet. And never cease cease to exist. This film did not need to be made. Either get Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, Snoop Dogg, and Simon Rex. I don't care. Every single person of them sucked. Every single person, human characters, every single film sucked. Everything from this film sucks. The joke sucks. The spoofs of the films they're spoofing sucks. Like Inception and Evil Dead, you know. Oh, like Snoop Dogg and the person he's with, you know. Oh, that cabin in the woods reminds of that movie, Cabin in the Woods. No, or was it? If it was like it's like Cabin in the Woods. No, the Evil Dead. Oh, Cabin in the Woods. No, it's the Evil Dead. Oh, the Cabin in the Woods. It keeps on repeating itself over and over again. And I kept getting more pissed and pissed. I really. Yeah, it's my brother. I don't have it. Like I said, it's my brother's DVD, but I really want to break it. I just don't want to. Otherwise, I would have to hear him. I don't understand why people think any of this kind of humor is funny. It's not funny whatsoever. Many people, especially my brother, he likes dumb, stupid humor, but I don't. That's why this is my worst film. This is my worst film of 2013 because this is worse than all these other films, all these other 17 films on my list. Because this film got me more. If there's one film this year that made me more pissed more than any other film, any other bad film this year, it's Scary Movie 5. Because especially with this type of humor, the jokes and this type of humor, these kind of spoof films, it would make me mad more than anything. Any other bad film I've seen this year. So yeah, that's my number one film in 2013, Scary Movie 5. The worst film I've seen this year. I hope that if any of these films, if any of these films that get golden Razzie get any golden Razzie awards, please. I hope any of these films get gold. Well, not films like Pacific Rim, or Iron Man 3, or The Wolverine, or Man of Steel. Those won't get Razzies because everybody loves those films. But Scary Movie 5, Texas Chainsaw 3D, R.I.P.D, Machete Kills, Bullets to the Head, or After Earth. Or those kind of films. I hope those films get Razzies because they deserve it, especially Scary Movie 5. So that's my list of the worst films of 2013. Let's do a recap. I want to do a quick recap. Technically, Room 237, which came out in 2012, but came on DVD. I saw on Netflix. That came out this year. That got me pissed off. That made me mad for them. Made me pissed off first. And then number 18, starting on the list. Number 18, Carrie, unwanted remake. Evil Dead. Now 17, Evil Dead, another unwanted remake. Number 16, G.I. Joe Retaliation. Number 15, The Purge. Number 14, Only God Forgives. Except I would say I like pieces. The only thing I said, I like pieces of the music. That was the only good thing about that film. Only God Forgives. I like pieces of the music. Number 13, After Earth. Number 12, Machete Kills. Number 11, Bullet to the Head. Number 10, Escape Plan. Number 9, Pacific Rim. Number 8, Riddick. Number 7, Man of Steel. Which I know that may probably make a lot of people mad, but it's my opinion. Number 6, The Wolverine. Number 5, Iron Man 3. Number 4, R.I.P.D. Number 3, Texas Chainsaw 3D. And then number 2, Curse of Chucky. And number 1, Scary Movie 5. that made me sick to my stomach, literally. So that's my top 18 worst films of 2013. So I hope you enjoyed this hour-long review, and thanks for watching. And stay tuned for my top 19 films of 2013, the best films I've seen of 2013. So thanks for watching, and take care now. Hope you enjoyed this, and stay tuned for which I'll be really happy to talk about my top 19 worst not worst my top 19 best films of 2013. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Later.